Remember Daniel Andrews, the former Premier of Victoria? You know, the man who imposed some of the world's longest and strictest pandemic lockdowns on his citizens? Well, he's back in the headlines, having attended China's largest ever military parade, celebrating the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression, and taking a class photo alongside some of the world's most brutal autocrats and dictators. What a proud moment. I'm sure it'll look great on his resume. We can see in this photo that the former premier is standing on the far right, but I guess looking from his perspective, he's on the far left. Of course, there's Xi Jinping, the President of the People's Republic of China, who has absolute control over the party, the state, and the military. President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, essentially an autocrat and strongman who governs with an iron fist. North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, who routinely consolidates his power through the use of forced labour, torture, and public executions. And then there's former Premier Daniel Andrews, who used his power to arrest pregnant ladies for daring to post on Facebook and bullied old ladies in parks for having the nerve to sit on a park bench without a valid reason. Yes, he's not quite to the same level of dictatorship as his comrades nearby, but for the purposes of this video, I'll give him the honorary title of Wannabe Dictator. When I first saw this photo last night, I thought it must be doctored or AI created, but no, the ABC reported, "Why would Daniel Andrews taint his legacy by posing alongside dictators?" The article highlights that even his own Labour Party colleagues and supporters were baffled by the images, with one expert suggesting that the event had a very pointed anti-Japanese focus that most Western countries deliberately steered clear of. Not to mention, I found him in other photographs. In this photo, you can just make him out right up the back. Only true dictators get to stand up the front. And here he is shaking hands with the Communist Party leader. None of this is too surprising, I suppose. As Premier, he visited China multiple times to promote Victoria's trade, investment and education sectors to Chinese officials and businesses. Although in 2023, for some reason, he chose not to bring Australian media with him, claiming they were not picture-friendly events. Sounds like BS. Australia's own special BS, the SBS, reported, "Not about you. Daniel Andrews says excluding journalists from China trip was right decision." There's also this now infamous picture of him from 2015 standing in Tiananmen Square in Beijing, talking on his phone where absolutely nothing happened in 1989. But after doing a bit of digging, I found a few more photos of Victoria's favourite premier of all time, meeting with other world leaders. Here he is meeting Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein. Here he is meeting the supreme leader of Iran. Here he is in Afghanistan, hanging out with the Taliban. And this one's a bit of an older one, but here he is with Adolf Hitler. I'm not sure what the event was. Just to be clear for the fact-checkers out there, these images are, of course, completely fake. The only real photos I have of him are with the actual dictators.